Hello everyone, welcome to this week's DIY. It is me, Madison, and we're here with another fun DIY with some really cool stems. Fall is here, and we got on our fun sweaters, we got on our skirts and our tights, and our boots. We're ready. And this is another good autumnal tone fall, not installation, but arrangement. And what's really cool is it's gonna be a bit of the more darker side of fall. So we got some burgundies in this one and some greens, and it's gonna look beautiful. So let's get started. Now for our first thing, we have our green. This is called podocarpus. It's another leafy green, kind of reminiscent of willow eucalyptus, but without that wonderful smell. It's very feathery and cool, so it can give a really good texture as well. It has really good movement to it, as we can see as I'm waving it around. Next, we have our classic snapdragons. We have these wonderful purplish burgundy snapdragons. Snapdragons are really cool. I believe they're native to Asia, and they have their names, one because of their shape, and two because dragons have a lot of significance in Asian culture. So, bam! Then we have our safari sunsets, absolutely gorgeous. I really like them because they have one, really good texture, and then two, they have that really cool cone in the middle. So if you utilize them right and get good angles, you can get people looking right into the center of them, especially when they really start to pop open. Beautiful. Then we have Dianthus ricilium. This is in the Dianthus family, so it shares the family with things like carnations, and it's very pretty. It looks very mossy. It has a beautiful texture to it, and I think it's going to add a lot of beauty to this arrangement. So share some of those. Next, we have Bells of Ireland, one of my favorite linears. Like, I just think it has such cool movement to it, and when you get ones with really cool shapes, you can do some really cool stuff with it. A little bit about Bells of Ireland. These are not native to Ireland. Fun fact. The name actually comes from, they believe that there was a gardener in Ireland that wanted to market it to local Ireland people. So they sold them from the garden and called them Bells of Ireland, and it just kind of stuck. They're actually native to Western Asia, so places like Syria, the Caucasus, etc. So yeah, pretty cool. Then we have lilies, and not just regular lilies. These are called Asiatic lilies. So there's two types of lilies that are pretty popular inside of floristry. We have Oriental lilies. Those are the really big ones that usually have a very strong smell. Not everyone likes it, but that's what it is. And then we have Asiatic lilies. Those are the ones that come in all of those really cool colors, and they have a scent to them a little bit, but it's not nearly as strong as an Oriental lily. Lilies are also really cool because, one, they date back almost 1500 BC. I believe the exact year, the exact account is like 1580 BC. So that's really cool. They have a lot of significance in things like religion and culture. They're really important to Christianity in terms of Easter. They can be symbols of peace, going to the afterlife, and a lot more. I don't know if you've heard of like the white peace lily and things like that. So yeah, lilies are really cool, but they can get really stinky. So that's why Asiatic lilies are really perfect. And we have these beautiful burgundy ones that we're going to be using today. All right, let's get started. So first we're going to use our podocarpus. I do this with all my greens. We've done this many times in our DIY. We're going to cut this down. We don't want to use all of this. It would be silly to just go, unless you want to go crazy and do something cool like that. Hey, art is art, but today we're going to cut it down. So I'm going to just go down the stem and first separate off little pieces like this. Just get it down to like several pieces, cut all those pieces off of that stem. Again, like that, like that, like that. Perfect. And now I'm going to go down the stem. Since they're feathered, it doesn't really matter where you cut it. Just separate them to points where you can use them, so I stripped the leaves off of this piece right here, and now I'm going to cut right there. Now I have a beautiful piece like that. And then I have two pieces like this. So I'm gonna cut that down a little bit, and now I have this piece. And I'm just gonna do that to all of my pieces. Just go down, strip them, piece them up. I'm gonna try to make as many pieces as possible. One, because you don't wanna waste anything. You don't waste your flowers here. But the more pieces you have, the stronger your mechanics will be. This isn't really a strong green, that's like a strong base, really. So you really wanna like make as many pieces as you can so it's really full and strong. And then, since again, it's not really a strong green to use at the base, the way we arrange is gonna be a little different. I'm not gonna put my lilies in or my vocals in first, like some people do, because the lilies are really heavy. And it's gonna be hard to like get them to stay where we want them to stay. So we're gonna do things a little different. Just a little. Just a little. All right. Got a few more pieces to go. Just really going down and stripping all of those little leaves off, splitting up my pieces. Bam. Now I have all of these pieces. I have a pile of pieces right here. So now I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna put them in. Remember, no stems in the water. If any of your stems are in the water, get rid of them. Get rid of them. I'm gonna put these in my bowl in that circular motion as always. Again, I'm making sure when I put in my pieces, they're all crossing each other. So I'm putting them in a way where like the stems kind of make this lattice-like shape. Because again, we want our base to be strong. So I'm doing that. That's all of them. Bam. We got some good stuff going on. Make sure you fan it out nice so that it's nice and full. Perfect. Gorgeous. So now I'm gonna go in with these. So now you're like, Madison, usually you put those in last. I know. Well, one, I'm gonna build out my base a little bit, just a little. And then two, there are no rules. Be a rule breaker. So I'm taking off all of these leaves, and then I'm cutting down the stem, and I'm kind of fluffing it out a little bit too, because I want it to be like full and beautiful. When they come out the package, sometimes they can look very flattened. So we're gonna make sure that we're like getting that fullness out of it. Beautiful. Next, I'm gonna go in with my gorgeous snapdragons. At first, I had these, and I was like, these are pretty too. But then I found these in the store, and then I'm like, I'm using these. These are gorgeous. They're so cool. So again, with snapdragons, I'm just taking my finger and dragging my finger down the entire stem. And when I do that, I'm making sure I'm holding the head when I do that so I don't break anything. Like if you did it right, if you just like held it down here and then like stripped without holding it at the base, you're gonna break the stem. So really hold it up here, drag your finger all the way down. You might get messy fingers, but that's okay. Floristry is messy fingers. All right, I'm gonna put this one a little bit lower just so I can get some fullness in there. And then I'm gonna keep this one just a smidge taller. Just a smidge. And again, I'm using all of my stems to kind of hold everything together. As I'm putting things in, I'm seeing what needs support, what needs to be held up, what needs something to lean on, a shoulder to lean on, if you would like to say. All right, I'm going in with my lilies. Some of these are really closed, but lilies open up pretty quick, especially once you, one, take them out the flower cooler, but then two, you give them a fresh cut and give them some water. So these should go pretty well. And again, even these still smell, but they're definitely not as strong as like those really big white lilies. Those are gorgeous, but they can fill a room. And that smell is not for everybody. It's not. That's why Asiatic lilies are a fun little second choice, and they're not as big as regular lilies. So that's something you kind of have to give up. I'm gonna cut off this little bud because it's getting in the way. And again, I'm just putting these at different heights. We want, I'm gonna save this one for last because it's quite heavy. Next, I'm going in with my Safari Sunsets. I'm gonna try to get some height out of these so we can really make our arrangement a little bit taller. That one I'll keep a little shorter, and then this one I'll keep a little taller. I won't take as many leaves off because I want that look to be throughout the entire arrangement. Stick that in right there. Gorgeous. So right now I have, this is getting pretty strong. Like things aren't moving around too much. So see why we did that? It's a little bit, it just adds up a little bit more strength. And this thing is top heavy. So if I want it to be as tall as I want it to be, I gotta make sure that my base is really good. And I'm like really utilizing like sticking things through the mechanics that I've made and using it to support each other. And it will get to the point where you stick something in there and nothing's moving. Ain't nothing moving, period. All right, now we're gonna go in with our bells of Ireland. I love bells. They can be a little fragile. Like this stem is like really hollow. Like you can look through it. So I like to put them in last. That's too tall. Because they are a little fragile. Just a little. You know what? I'm gonna put these diameters a little lower so I can really stick them through and they hold. There we go. There we go. And you felt it when you put it in there. It doesn't move. It's so nice. And then for these bells of Ireland, gorgeous, gorgeous. Let's see what we got going on so far. Really cool. Oh, wow. It's kind of giving like a non-tropical vibe. I want to say tropical because usually arrangements like this that have like really tightness to it, like things that are close to the bowl and lots of different heights, you want to call it tropical because that's what people do with a lot of tropical flowers. It's very architectural. Has a lot of movement, fun shapes, different heights, things like that. But it's not tropical. So I think that you can do fun shapes like this without that tropical feeling, which is really cool. And honestly, Bells of Ireland, perfect for that look. Perfect. All right, so now I'm putting in my beautiful lily. I'm gonna cut off some of these buds so this stem can focus its energy on getting these to bloom. That's really important. And they're just in the way of the beautiful flower. They're just in the way. And it's like, go away. Go away. You can keep some of the buds, but I'm taking them all off. All right. Beautiful. All right, so now we're gonna look at our arrangement and we're gonna do some tweaks to it. This one I'm gonna turn this way. This Bell of Ireland. I kind of want the shape to be seen, so I'm gonna curve it that way a little more. I see that this Safari Sunset is being lost in the sauce, so I'm gonna stick it through there so it stops moving for one, and then two is a little bit more seen. And then I'm gonna stick this one right there. Now I'm just doing my final touches, and when things are a little bit, like you have a lot of really big stuff and it's not standing up the ways you want them to, what I do is I get my strongest stems. So my strongest stems in here are probably the stems for my lilies, and I make these little sticks and I stick them in the back to really like fix my mechanics. So remember when I was like placing stems in places that are important? This is doing that, but really focusing less on the look and focusing on your mechanics. So if you're like, this lily isn't staying the way I want it to, put it where you want it to be, like that. And then shove something in your mechanics right underneath it to the point where you know it will stay. And then bam, it does. So that's just a little trick that I do things, and it's like usually stuff that people won't see. And if you see it poking out a little bit, just cut it off a little bit, cut it a little shorter, and then bam, you got your mechanics in the bag. And that really helps, especially when you're trying to get something to stay. So like this won't stay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a cute little stick out of our lily stick, and I'm just gonna stick it in there. And really stab it through so you know it's gonna stay. And that ain't moving, period. Again, putting that one in the front because I want it to be seen. She's missing right now. And then I'm gonna get one more stick in there that's gonna get these bells of Ireland to stay where I want to. So I'm gonna put them where I want them. Kind of want them like this. And then I'm gonna stick something right in there. All right, and after a few more adjustments, that is our arrangement for this week. This is a really cool arrangement because we got a bit more of an architectural look going on. We got the movement of these bells of Ireland, which is just, they're one of my favorite linears because of that. They have such cool gesture and movement to them. Makes me really happy. We have this cluster of snapdragons that are like a cool little pile coming out the side. And then we have these gorgeous lilies, these Asiatic LA lily, burgundy lilies. They're absolutely gorgeous. Then we have these safari sunsets that go really well with our lilies. And then we have an add of texture that comes with using our green trick. So I love it. And I would love to see what you guys do with this week's DIY. So make sure that you send your pictures to Flowers for Dreams Detroit or Flowers for Dreams. I would love to see them. It makes me happy whenever you guys do send them. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. All right, bye.